What's going on, guys? Venatix here. Welcome back to the channel. We got the best settings, a guide for you so you know exactly what you need to do for your game, your volume, your camera, your interface, your HUD, etc. in this video. First up, we have the game tab, and I think it's important to choose if you want to have your helmet visibility on or off. Know that there is no customization when it comes to your face, so I personally like to leave my helmet visibility on. This goes for the campaign as well as operations and the Eternal Warfare, which is the PvP. As for languages, we don't really care too much, except for the subtitles. I like to have those on and sometimes off, depending if I'm trying to make a cinematic shot. But for those who would like to know who's talking, get the names, and learn all that stuff, subtitles is nice to have. You also have these story subtitles here, which shows, as you can see, whether or not it appears above their heads or not while you're inside of the main hub areas. Next on the network, we have text chat and crossplay. Things that you should just have on by default. As for video, everything actually runs pretty smoothly. I'm getting 90 plus frames out of 3070, as you can see here, using quality DLSS, rocking unlimited FPS, and I turned off motion blur as I do for every game that I play. That is a little bit of personal preference, but I think this helps so you can see everything that's going on in the battlefield while you're moving quickly, especially with the camera movement. As for the presets, I just have my quality set to high. As I said, I'm running things pretty smoothly with a 3070 Ti and a 13700K CPU. Now to the controls. Movement. Sprint activation is set to toggle by default. A lot of people like that. I personally like to have mine as hold. Then you have your basics, move forward, backward, left, right, etc. Nothing too crazy there. The only things that are really going to matter for you more than anything is the fact that there will be a lock-on target, which I believe is defaulted to X. Now for controller, there's a few more things that you can do to help you out here. You got your vibration, you got your adaptive triggers, you got your sprint activation, aim, etc., which also allows you to hold or not hold. And if you go into here, you got your actual layout here in between what you guys like you can use here. This game definitely feels like it can be a controller game and feel really good, but I'm still a keyboard and mouse guy through and through. Now for the camera, sensitivity defaults to 10. I moved mine down to 7. This is for mouse. As for controller, you can see defaults are 10, 10, off, 10 and 10, and you do have the option for aim assist to be on strong, default, or off. As for camera shakes, I turned that off because I want to make sure I can see everything that's going on, not have my screen go absolutely crazy. It's all about that visual clarity for me, so I turned that off. As for audio, this doesn't really matter too much. You can change your speaker and dynamic range. Everything I keep basically default except for the master volume. And then you got your voice chat because you can talk in-game to your friends as well as random people that you end up queuing up with. As for the interface, this is where things get super important. You got your object highlight. You have it off, this is what it looks like. On, here's what it looks like. As for squad member highlights, you can have them off or on. I like to have this on, especially the teammates overhead markers. This one doesn't really matter too much, but I'd like to see which teammate's over there so I can call them by name rather quickly instead of trying to guess. As for the HUD, there's some cool defaults here. We got the dynamic, full, and minimal. I put mine on full because I want to know all the information up front right away. So you got the reminder tips set to dynamic. You can either have those off. Starting out, I definitely recommend having the tips on. As for now, I still leave it on just as a nice reminder. As for the directive panel, you can see in the top right corner there, you can adjust what you want it to be. On, dynamic, or off. Dynamic meaning it'll only be there when it's new or it's refreshing you. Otherwise, on means it's always on. As for the directive messages, these are the things that are going to pop up in the middle of the screen when you're on the next part of the quest inside of the operation you're working on. I like to have mine as dynamic, aka on, so that I can see what I need to do next. As for directive markers, I believe it's set to dynamic, which means it's only going to show up every so often. You can also press the focus button, which will show you where you need to go. I have this set to on, so I always know. I never have to guess. I never have to press another keybind to know where I need to go. As for health bar, you can have dynamic, off, or on. I'm assuming as dynamic, it's only going to show if you've taken damage or while you're regenerating your armor, but I like to have that on at all times. Same with the stats effect panel, you can have that off or on. As you can see here, this guy is covered in the green stuff, and you can see when it's about to wear off. Same with the status effect bar. As you can see here in the middle, it's doing a build-up, so you know if you're getting close to that status effect. As for the terminus enemy's health, I definitely have that turned on. It's for bosses and stuff like that. As for weapons, you can actually turn off the HUD here, and I like to have that on at all times. Same with the inventory, bottom right corner when you're playing the game, I have that set to on. Team status shows your teammates' armor and health bar, I set that to on. As for location name, so I know where I am at all times, you can do a call out, I have that set to on. As for chat log, game logs, I have that set to dynamic, so if you know you picked up a guardian relic or ammo or a grenade, etc., it's just going to kind of pop up on the bottom left. As for sight, this shows a little dot in the middle of the screen at all times, so I have that set to on. The sight ammo counter, I have this set to on. If you have it off, it's gone. Underneath it, it'll show you how much ammo you have left in your magazine. As for the jump limit indicator, oh, interesting. This one shows overheating or not. This is more of the campaign, but I wonder if it's also talking about the yellow marker there at all times. You should be able to turn that off, but for whatever reason, it's not showing that there. And the Vox transmission, having that off or on, I like to have it on just knowing that it's happening. So AK, for if you didn't want to know, it's the HUD preset of full. Now for the accessibility, I have my social wheel as hold, scoreboard as hold, automatic attention focus. I have that as off because sometimes, not usually, but sometimes they want you to focus when something's going on, and you don't always want the game to just immediately change your focus. But personal preference on that. As for the HUD, you got subtitles, backgrounds. You can add a background to make it more legible. As for the speaker visibility, you can choose if you want to see who's actually speaking, which I think is really nice. You get your subtitle size I left on default. Off-screen markers, I had that to on. Mono sound is off. Now you can do some nice colorblind mode here to see some better colors, especially those who are colorblind, or if you want to see it better, you got green or purple or like a pink, then the colors kind of change. And I have that set to off. Now that's the settings for Space Marine 2. Been playing it a lot. Let me know what you guys think and what settings you prefer to use, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
The Hive Tyrant will reach your position shortly. Join the Imperial Guard defenses up on the bridge, and lure that Xenos Colossus into the kill zone. Remote detonation, right! Your public carrier revives! Commencing reload! Let this harassing alien cunt mold their own fate. Tyranid can't get sight.